Hello, everybody. It's your boy Hooker Picks, bringing you the second half of my NFL fantasy mock draft on the top 25 running backs with five honorable mentions. So, before we get into that, if you're new to the page, first time here, please like, share, and subscribe. All right, guys. I should have done this earlier, but like I say, I was just doing it off the cuff. I'll be prepared next time when I do. Probably do receivers. I'm gonna save my quarterbacks for last, but I'll do receivers tomorrow. But I'm going to give you my 25, like I said, my first 25, and then honorable mentions and how you want to use those. So, with that, let's get into it. Here we go. All right, guys. And like I was saying, I like dual threat running backs. I like guys that carry the ball a lot. I like guys that can score either receiving, running, and he's their main guy. They're going to use him in the red zone. And with that, that's why I have Christian McCaffrey. He's the top running back. No question about it, hands down. I mean, he proved it last year. Been proving it actually. Ever since he got traded to San Francisco. I think he had more touches than anybody in the whole league. And plus the guy's just he's a threat out of that back. I mean, out of the excuse me, as a receiver as well. So I mean, he's probably gonna be your top fantasy guy this year. As far as scoring points, how whether it's catching the ball or running the ball. So that's why I have him at number one. Now my second pick, I would have gone with Eckler, Austin Eckler, but I know he's coming back from the injury. They had him kind of low, but I mean, a lot of people do this. They'll pick him, they'll save him, tucked away until he comes back. I mean, his production did go down a lot last year. I'm not gonna say his touchdowns went down. You know, as far as his touches didn't go down as much, even though he did have that injury. But I mean, he had a full year to recover. He's doing the off season. I haven't really been paying attention to him because I haven't really talked about him. But I mean, we're gonna still hold him up there. But like I say, I'm gonna go with Saquon Barkley, number two. The reason Saquon is he got back from an injury, he killed it this year. And then, Giants didn't want to pay him, so Eagles did, which is I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so that's in my division. And man, them and the 49, I don't just know how they get these players off for free. Man, they get just killers. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Frisco, after they got McCaffrey, they picked up Chase Young to already well-oiled machine defense they do have. I mean, God, doesn't get no better than that. I mean, they got it. I mean, you already had a star defense. You add a person like Chase Young to your team. Doesn't make sense to me. Well, so I mean, but yeah, like I say, Saquon Barkley, he's a back just like Christian. I mean, he does catch it. Like he runs a lot. They run a lot of screens with him as well. I mean, he's morely first and three down back. I mean, he's powerful. He's fast. I mean, he's gonna run you over if he has the opportunity, but he will. I mean, but he likes to shake and bake. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't like taking it. I mean, of course, he's a running back. The shelf of running backs not too long, and he'll avoid contact. I mean, he'll shake you out your shoes. So I mean, but he's gonna be my second pick. That's who I would. This is gonna be my list and how I pick them, and if that's how I pick them through the draft board. Just for like I say, you have to pay attention to the rules. I mean, a lot of the rules and points, the way they do the points on the fantasy, are pretty much the same now. I ran a football fantasy league. It's a bunch of us. We all know each other. Growing up. My wife was only 1 year and everything. I altered the points. I actually like on receptions, but a lot of things I added a whole point for. So scoring was crazy. So we had to pay attention. But I told everybody before they joined, look, hey man, you got to read the point. You got to read the scoring on this because I changed it up. I'm letting y'all know now before we draft. So you can go look at that, and I gave him actually a week notice. I didn't want to do it right before the draft. And be like, oh, it's a setup, blah blah blah. You're the commissioner, and it's already issues, controversy. I as a commissioner, I survived two big controversies, as they say. My buddies were talking here. It's a Joe's Insight thing about some trading going on, and uh, about how, because I mean we traded. It was a trade in the same household is what happened. My wife. But my buddy also did it with his stepson, so he tried to put it on me, he tried to get emphasis off of him. But it was a big funny. It was funny. I survived it, and like I told him, and he got there. One of the other buddies like going in all on me. Oh, he said the commission. They were trying to kick. I said, you can't kick me. That's my fantasy. I'm the commission. But it was just a bunch of. I said, well, there ain't no rules. There's no rules. I mean, the rules are set. You can trade whatever. I mean, nobody made up the rules. We went by the regular rules. So I mean, I get it. It's in house, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so let's get on with the third pick is Austin Eckler. And he, before his injury, man, he was a killer. Like 2 years ago, I want to say he was a killer. Man, I think he had most red zone touchdowns, or most touchdowns from a running back, actually. Hold on, buddy. So, I mean, he's a killer, man. I mean, I don't know how, I mean, he's somebody that you hope he comes back, and if he does, man, he's going to show out. I mean, they plugged up some of the holes they needed on off. Well, they had a lot of injuries. The receiver went down, Mike Williams went down. So, I mean, they should all be back, like I said. The offseason prepare. I mean, get ready and, all that. So, I mean, if he's up there, I would take him and just hide him if I could. But I'm gonna do like I say, do your homework, see where they got him at, see his progression as far as his coming back from his injury or whatever. And just see where he's at, his progression, because I had him real low. So I would check that out. I mean, comes back 100%. I mean, that's a steal, regardless if people are afraid to mess with him or they don't want to, put him in the lineup. But I would air the caution with him just in case. So let's get to number 4, Kyren Williams for Los Angeles. Guy's a workhorse. I think he has the most carries as a running back last year. I mean, they're going to put the ball in his hand. The guy's a runner. He's tough. He's a tough runner. He's up the middle. I mean, he runs between the tackles, no doubt about that. The guy is tough. They run him like a thing. I mean, he's paired up with another back. I can't remember the guy's name. But he carries the bulk of the carries. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted with him. He's going to carry the ball. And I think he averaged like 90 yards a game or 95. He was averaging the most yards on the ground last year. He's a beast, man. He'll catch the ball here and there out of the backfield, but he's more of a straight up runner. But if he does catch, I mean, he'll break. He has that speed. I got him at number 4. I mean, with LA, they weren't putting too many. They didn't score a lot of touchdowns, so that's the only downfall when you pick up Kyren. But that's lacked because they had a lot of injuries in the receiver position as well. They had 2 of their main receivers go down during the year and stuff. So when that happens, you're going to emphasize mainly on the running back, and they had to get it rolling somehow. They had to do something, so they put the ball. They put it on his back, and they keep getting on. But they didn't do so well as far as when they got to the playoffs. But they were hurt. So what can you do, right? So that would be my number 4 pick, Kyren Williams. Draft order. That's how I'm gonna do them in that order. Like I say, question mark by Austin Eckler, but I hate doing that because like I said, just do your homework. I'm here to, like I said, I'm here to help and what I would do my draft, how I would do mine. So I'm gonna put a little question mark by my guy, just to leave it out there. If you don't, if you forget about it. So I'll do that by everybody I think should have a question mark. You know what I mean? So let's get back to it. So yes, and like I say, we'll put a question mark Austin Eckler. We'll come back. What I'll do, like I say, I'll do an injury report before the season starts. I always do. I'll come back at the end of the year. Do a big injury report for all the players and their status and what it looks like and how they'll look like when the season starts. So the next pick is going to be Jonathan Taylor. He also was a guy that come back from injury during the year. He came out pretty bad. He came back good. I mean, it went straight to him, running the ball. I mean, and he's another guy that has a good backup. but he's gonna carry. He's carrying most. He's doing the bulk of the running. Uh, they have a good. He has a good receiver. He has the number one receiver out there that got hurt too. I used him as my receiver. So I mean, they have a decent team over there. They do a lot of running as well. He does when in the red zone. They go to him a lot. They're gonna put him on his back, but he has that breakaway tackles kind of ability. So he's very dangerous out there. What's going on, buddy? Yeah, they're downstairs, buddy. Go to Popo. So, yeah, I got my son and my wife's in New Orleans for her birthday. So it's doing Daddy Duty's guys' night this week. So, yeah, tell Popo, buddy. So, let me get in. Yeah, let's get into Jonathan Taylor a little bit more. Like I said, he's a good guy. I mean, he's a good red zone back. I mean, and he's also a dual threat. He's a very big dual threat as well. Like I said, a lot of these guys are all dual threats, with the exception of Kyron. But the reason I have him so high is because he does a lot of, like I say, it's a lot of touches. He's get a lot of touches. So if they're in the red zone and they're looking to score, the ball's going to go to him, without a doubt. So that's why I got him up high. But Jonathan Taylor, he's another guy that can, he gets out there, he breaks one. Yeah, he's got great hands. He's got good hands for a running back as well. So I mean, he's a good, like I said, it all varies on them. So like with Jonathan Taylor, I think I spelled his name wrong. He's one of those guys that he's a very consistent guy. That's what I like about the guy. He's not he doesn't fumble the ball a lot. He keeps the ball tight. But like I say, he's a guy that can put some fantasy scores up there. They run their offense and defense are pretty much 50-50, I want to say, as far as split passing and receiving. So there's not like, a lot of these, he's heavy. Because a lot of these guys, it all varies. So that's how like I said, that's another way I did it too, because I'm doing it by as far as I would pick them, as far as how high or how much fantasy value they all have. That's how I'm picking these guys. So that's why I have Jonathan Taylor number 5. Now, Alvin Kamara. He's basically, man, I'll be honest, he's a human highlight reel. You know how they say it in basketball, human highlight reels? That's the way I look at Alvin Kamara. And the guy can pretty much do anything offensively. You need him to. He could throw the ball, he could run the ball, he could catch the ball, he could, get out in space and juke you and lose you. He can run you over. The guy is a beast. I like Alvin Kamara a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. Me personally, man, there's only one other guy that I would, possibly 2 guys other than that I would choose over him, Saquon and Christian. And even then, I just like Alvin Kamara, man. He touched the ball a lot. He's he's a good blocker. He catches the ball in the backfield. He has the speed. He's very elusive. Especially with the offense they run. I mean, they have a modern day slash, which is I can't remember the guy. He plays quarterback, receiver, running back. Damn, I just having brain farts lately, guys. I don't know, too much thinking. But y'all know who I'm talking about. Came from BYU, I want to say. Yeah. So you never know what they're going to do. So that's what kind of makes them kind of dangerous. But the thing with the New Orleans Saints is they just got old. They got old. They got old kind of quick. Their defense is aging. They need to plug up some holes offensively. The receivers finally come around as far as getting an actual who's the number 1 receiver. So, but like I say, with Alvin Kamara, can't go wrong with that guy, man. Can't really go wrong. You just got to watch the matchups with him. You got to watch a lot of them. They got some good linebackers. Those are more the guys that they can keep up with him as far as like when they running a screen or something, offensively, like where he's out in space. They can get to him quick, stuff like that. So that's the only thing you got to really. That's the only thing he really did, unless the quarterback's getting a lot of. They got a good offensive. They got a good old defensive line. A lot of up the middle or fast linebackers that seems to give him trouble sometimes, just for the fact because they know where he runs and how he's catching his passes. But like I say, he's a guy that you really have to pay attention to the matchup, and as far as the interior defensive line and the linebackers, because that's his only. Yeah, we have three now. Oh man, you made that answer. Okay, buddy. I'll get over there in a minute. Okay. Okay. So it's the only problem that I did notice with him. And like I said, I had him last year, so I kind of know how you get to him as far as that. You got to get to him before it gets going. That's the thing with Alvin Kamara. So that's why I have him. Like I say, man, he's at number 6. He was like at 19th. They have him. I don't know why. I mean, Austin Eckler, I do know. I haven't heard nothing bad about him. I don't think he got. Man, like I said, my memory's so shot now. I don't remember him getting injured at all. But I'm gonna pull that up. Like I said, I'll give another injury report after I do all these. After I do each position. So I'll come back with a big injury report as far as what I've heard, how the offseason gone, and where they're at. So let's move on to our next pick, which is Jamar Gibbs, the rookie. Well, he's not a rookie no more. They have him higher than his counterpart, which David Montgomery, which I understand. The dude's electrifying when he gets out there. He's just so quick man. He's quick. He's fast. He can catch. He can run. I mean, he can pretty much do it all, man. You get him out. He can line him up as a receiver, and he's very hard to guard. So I mean, it's kind of like I don't know how long. Well, I guess with the team doing well, he'll probably stay. I mean, this is a good chance of winning a Super Bowl by staying there. But I mean, he's getting his carries. Don't get me wrong. He takes advantage of. He's a very efficient back. That's how you can explain Jamar Gibbs. He's a very efficient and electrifying because whenever he does touch ball, he does something with it. That's what I like about the guy. He's still young, so he's coming to his own, and and he'll earn. He's the guy. He's not a big guy. That's the only problem. So I guess they kind of complement each other over there right now. I like to use that. It's like thunder and lightning right now. That's how I like to compare running backs because one guy's fast. I mean, the other guy's thunder. He's bringing the boom. And they very complement each other. You can stick him out on the wide receiver. So even with David Montgomery in the backfield, so there's times that they can, or stick him on a reverse same way. I mean, the guy's just electrifying. You never know. I mean, like I say, he's a good top back. You would get. Of course, I would say you could use him as a flex, but the guy will not. He's always going to be. He's going to be a top 10 back, no matter how. Top 5, if you really look at it, depending. Because he can score. He can score. He can get in the end zone. He can get 6. So he's always a threat to get 6. Like I say, whatever he's doing. So I got him. Like I said, I got him. That's why I got him at number 7. So now next is Texas guy, UT guy, my guy. I'm a big UT fan in Austin. I've seen him a lot when he was there. Bijan Robinson. Well, he was a rookie last year. He did pretty good. They stalled a lot in the red zone, and that's it's Atlanta. What can you do? They had quarterback issues, So I mean, what can you do, right? Their own line's not that good, so I think this year uh, he'll he'll play more, and I'm not going to say play more. He'll have more output as far as what he's doing. As running the ball or catching the ball, because he's a dual threat just as well. He has breakaway speed as well. I think it's just because he's playing for Atlanta. You know, they're not a down the field passing team. They're more like over the middle. They have a good tight end. I think the tight end I can't even remember his name. I think he led the receivers and he led everybody in passing. I want to say it's pretty good. I mean, he was more of a position type tight end. He was their go-to as far as that for a while. They didn't have any dual threats like that. A lot of it's because they're line. So, but I think Bijan will break out this year. It's when it's your first year. I mean, you could show out from what your talents are, which he did. But like I say, once he gets more used to the line, man, there's a lot of things you have to get used to. The chemistry is a big thing as a rookie coming in play, especially if your line's not that good. So I mean, if you ever played running back, you understand what I mean. Sometimes you got to wait for the lineman to set up and all this. You can't just always rely on your speed or your power. It's the thing about the NFL. I mean, you have to be patient, especially at a running back. Sometimes you got to wait for the play to set up. And I think that's what kind of hurt him a little bit as far as watching him because he would get out in front of his line a little bit sometimes, but waiting for the hole to open up. Because sometimes it takes time. But I think as he having that year under his belt, he should be pretty good this year. But I mean, he can break it. I mean, he broke a couple last year, so the guy got that breakaway speed. And that's why I got him at number 8. I think he'll be okay this year as far as fantasy wise. As far as putting up some high fantasy, because he'll get more touches. That's what you like. Like I said, he can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. He's a threat. Basically, he's a receiver and a running back's body. That's how I can look at it. So that's why I have my number 8 now. Brees Hall, the number 9. I think I'm still giving him a little bit more. I probably would have put Joe Mixon up. It's kind of funny why Joe Mixon dropped. And I know a lot of it has to do with the line. I mean, then he's went to Houston, so that's probably why. I kind of did the same. If he would have stayed in for the Bengals, Cincinnati, I would have had him way higher. But he's going to be splitting with that guy over there. I think he's a rookie. The guy did, and the guy for Houston, he wasn't a bad running back. Prince, I think, took his name right, Lamont or something like that. Can't remember right off the bat. But he did pretty good over there. So he'd probably be splitting carries with that guy, or he's not going to carry a lot of the workload. Just with the new team, so it's gonna, it's gonna have time. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I mean, but let's get back to Brees Hall. Brees Hall. They have the New York Jets. They're not a. I'm not gonna say they're a run-oriented team because they're more defense with the coach over there. But their main guy is their receiver. And that's just the way they are. They're a pass. They focus more. Their passing is their golden ticket. To be honest, they're okay. They have shines. I mean, they have. I'm not gonna knock the Jets like that because since Coach got over there, he turned a lot of them around, put that defensive mind, got them a quarterback, and they went with them because they've always had quarterback issues. To be honest, it's just the Jets. They're. I mean, I don't know what to tell you other than they're the Jets, and they don't have. They've never been a big market team. They've never been that team. I'm not gonna sit here and blame it on their draft. I really don't know. They just because you're always getting draft picks. They're just picking too many quarterbacks. That's how I feel. I'm gonna be honest. When you're a team and you go through quarterbacks, you're not drafting right. Sorry. I know it's a big market and it's hard to get those quarterbacks there, but you got to figure something else out instead of just drafting quarterbacks. So, but yeah, like I say, he's a good runner. I mean, he's a tough guy. He's a dual threat as well. You know, they get in the red zone, they will use him. But they're like to go down. They got a nice receiving core with him. So I mean, it's not a bad back. He'll put up some numbers. He'll get you fantasy. He'll get you some touchdowns if they get in the red zone. So that's why they got him high. That's why I put him at number 9. They got him lower. So I think they have him in the top 5. I don't. I wouldn't put him in my top five, to be honest. I'm not. I wouldn't. Me personally, and just because he plays for the Jets, I mean, he has the potential to be in there, but he just as if they can be consistent throughout the year. That's the problem with the Jets. And picking somebody from the Jets, other than the receiver they have over there, it's the running back position. The consistent is the team to get in the red zone. I mean, they're not guaranteed. That's another thing because of their offensive line. So that's why I have him at number 9. Then we have Travis Etienne Jr. Now with him, and he's a dual threat, but injury, he got injured, and his main thing, I think he's been injured every year. Probably, I think I want to say, can't remember. Yeah, I think yeah. Anyways, but he's a guy. He's on a team that they're very inconsistent team, very inconsistent because you don't know where their output's coming from, whether it's certain receiver, certain running back, the quarterback. They're very up and down team because due to their line, their offensive line. So, but the guy can do something. He's a good back. He's a strong back. He's a dual threat, just like any other. But like I say, the inconsistency with him is more of a team thing, than just him himself. I mean, the guy's going to put in the work. But like I say, it just matters on the team, what the line's doing, what the team's doing as a whole that game. But he'll put you some fantasy numbers as well. I mean, he'll put it up in there. He'll get his touches. Like I said, two ways, catching or receiving, and he's going to gain some, good yards for you. He's not he may have a tiny bit fumble issue, but it's not as big one. But he has, so might want to watch that maybe. So let's get on to the number. That's going to have White, and he's my 10th pick. And then we're going to go on to the next pick, Devin Arcane. Now this guy right here, he plays for the Dolphins. The guy is electrifying. He's got a lot of speed, a lot of speed. You know, him and Mozart they shift carries, but I think Mozart started and then he took over. He took over most of during the during the middle of the season. Can't remember Mozart got hurt. I think Mozart got hurt, but he took a lot of the deal and he kept it. Guy's good, and he has on a good team. He's weapons all around them, quarterback, receiver, everything. They have a good team. So the guy's gonna put up numbers this year. It's just, like I say, they're another team that they're 50-50. It's sometimes it's 60-40 the other way. It's a receivers game because they got the cheat over there. You got to remember that when you have dual threats and you can move the ball up and down, sometimes you take a little hit to the running back position. But hey, in the red zone, they're going to go to him. So that's another thing you got to look about. They're going to go to him in the red zone. So he's one of those guys that he can put you big numbers by getting in the red zone, and they do. They get in the red zone quick. You know, I think this year the chemistry will be there more for them because they did stall out a little bit some games this season. Then towards the end of the year, they had a losing streak. I think after they lost, I can't remember who it was. It's a big matchup they lost to. I just can't remember. Man, the guy. They kind of went downhill, but he's pretty solid. He's pretty solid running back. That's why I got him at number 11. Let's go to the guy from Bama, the big guy, trained Derrick Henry. He's at a new team. He's angry. He's mad at the Cowboys because they didn't pick him. We never do any Cowboys never do anything for free agency. So what's new, right? But this y'all's protrude. I was angry, upset. You let your running back walk away. And Pollard was a beast last year, fantasy especially. He dropped. I don't know. You can see he's at 23. Maybe it's because he's going to a new team, Washington. So, and I think he's going to split carries, but I just don't think the line's going to be there for him like he ran behind Dallas. But anyways, let's get back to D. Henry. Well, he's a dual threat. He likes to catch the ball. He doesn't catch the ball as much, but when he does, The thing with is you got to get to him as soon as he catches the ball. Don't let him get started. That's just the thing about Henry. You can't let him get started. Well, if he gets started, you're in trouble. It's like a runaway train. I mean, you can tell that he's getting a little older. Is this because, like I say, before he could break tackles, he could juke. Now it's if you get on him, pretty much you're gonna stop him. And so he's at number 12. Like I say, he's one of those. He's gonna third and short backs in the end zone. You're on the one. He's gonna run the ball. That's where he gets a lot of his points from. So let's go to the next pick. Is David Montgomery. David Montgomery, he's a good solid back. I mean, just gotta he's gonna split the carries, but the guy also is a solid 1, 2, 3. He's gonna run third and short. He's gonna run goal line. He's that guy for you. You need a 1 yard, 2 yard. That's who they go to. It's not gonna be Gibbs. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, Gibbs is quick. He's the quicker guy. He just doesn't get the meat on him like David Montgomery. Like I said, they did pretty good this year. Like I said, I mean, splitting carries, however they did it. I got him at 13. He should get his points. I wanted to put him higher, but like I said, just with Jamar Gibbs coming back, that's why I have him at 13. I did be, but I think Jamar Gibbs is gonna because Jamar did give like towards the end of the season, even the playoffs, ate into some of his possessions, just for the simple fact that they're on a lot of the games that were close or they were coming from it's clock management, so they needed to hurry. Because he's more of a Montgomery's a more grinded out guy. That's the way he is. He's more of a grinded out guy. So that's why I have him at 13. Now let's go to my 14th pick with this Joe Mixon. I had him on my fantasy last year. Like I say, he's a guy. He's a guy like Dave Montgomery. You say you go top heavy receiver or tight end first. He's a guy that complements that. He has a lot of carries. He does a lot of third down. He can get it out of the backfield. He's a red zone threat. He's that type of running back. I've used him. I've won fantasies with the guy just because of that. But like I said, you got to worry about his matchups. There's certain guys you have to worry about their matchups that week because there's some teams, like I say, that have his number. It's just the way it is sometimes. I mean, it's like not every back is going to have a good game, but there's some teams that by watching where they play every year that he's going to not struggle, but he's not going to get the same number. So you want to watch that. I mean, I watch all that when I do fantasy. I go for, you have to because you got to know you got to know your matchups. So, like I said, I like Joe Mixon. He's going to be at a new team. So that's probably why they have him a little bit higher up, 14. He's gonna probably have to split carries. He'll go in as number one. I think he will, but I don't. He won't get the workload. I think until maybe during the middle of the season, because they're still gonna test him and the other guy out, see who. He'll probably win it during the off season, but doesn't mean he's not gonna have to share some of his workload. But that's why I got him at 14. Now, Rashad White, Tampa Bay. The guy just came out of nowhere. I just wasn't following their running back as much because they never had backs that they've always been shadowed either by the quarterback or the receivers. Mike Evans over there. They got a good squad. Now I think he was a big compliment last year. Big reason why they did make the playoffs because even though Mike Evans is the 1,000-yard receiver every year since he's been in the league, with Baker out there as a quarterback, man, it's even too. I'm not gonna just blame on Baker, but Mike Evans has got the little bit of the butterfinger sometimes. They would double team him, one high, one low. So yeah, he struggled a lot towards the end of the season. I did notice that. Even in some of the playoffs, he did. I had him as a receiver, so I know. But yes, Rashad White, he took a lot of that load off that. To be honest, towards the end of the season and during the playoffs, he took a lot of that load. Guy was running hard. He runs hard. He's fast. He can, he can dance as well. So he's to me, he's that dark horse. He's a dark horse. I mean, He could probably be higher, but the fact that I didn't really pay attention and he really came out of nowhere, especially last year, I'm gonna keep him at number 15. But like I say, as I do some more homework and watch what happened in off season, I'm gonna keep my eye on him. I'm gonna definitely keep my eye on him. I would recommend you would too. I think he's gonna. He had good production. Don't get me wrong, but I think you see him as a whole season. He's gonna do a lot. He's gonna be way better than 15. I tell you that. I think he's gonna be up there. So keep an eye on Rashad White at number 15. Now James Cook, like I said, he's at Buffalo, and he's probably the third, fourth weapon. So I mean, they're more pass oriented, but now that they don't have Diggs over there, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't know if they even got anybody. Like I said, I haven't really been paying attention to that. About what the team has actually done. Been doing the other stuff, so it's kind of hard. Like I said, I'm going to come back. I'm going to check out the receivers and all that. And, but he's a guy that he can run the ball, he can catch the ball, he can get you those tough yards. Run a lot of screens with them. That's what they're set up for at Buffalo. So he gets a lot of yards like that. He's a consistent back. That's the best way to put him. Consistent. I mean, he can average. He can get your average points all the time. He's gonna hover around when his points hover. He's not gonna. He's a guy that you can. Not gonna underperform, but stay around his points. He's not a guy that's gonna explode with points because of the simple fact they have too many weapons, and they do like to throw inside the red zone a lot because they have a lot of receivers, tight ends. They have a lot of weapons. Buffalo. And quarterback running in there too. Yeah, he'll break 20 yards if he has to. So I mean, he's kind of he plays his role well, is what he does. And he's like I said, that's why he's very consistent. James Cook in his position, where he knows where he stands as far as on that team. He's a team player, so that's why I have him at number 16. And let's go with Aaron Jones. Well, he did good at Green Bay. He's gone now. I want to make sure. Just to make sure. Aaron Jones, where you at? Yep. Said Minnesota. You know what? I'm gonna tell you a little something about Minnesota. Um, they run the ball a lot, especially when they're in the lead. I noticed that they don't run too much during the game because they have Jefferson. They have a nice receiving core. Because I remember when Jefferson got hurt, I think Addison is his name, rookie, he came out. But running back position, they're a grind out team too. They're not real flashy. They're gonna run in between the tackles and that's it. They're not gonna, get you on the outside too much. And Aaron Jones complement that. They'll probably run him a lot of screens, so he'll probably get his numbers. That's how he's going to get a lot of his fantasy points or stay consistent with his fantasy points. Because they're just kind of the same way Buffalo is about being in the red zone. They have a lot of weapons. They're going to go to as soon as they get in there, they're going to Jefferson. I mean, the guy's 6 foot something. I mean, he's been the number one fantasy output player pick for the last couple of years. So, I mean, so they're going to get him his numbers. They're going to get him his TDs. So he's a guy that I don't know how it's going to, now that Aaron Jones over there, because I think he's going to be he's going to be better back. I can't remember who the back was last year. It's going to be a big improvement. It just him as a player. I want to say it's because of him as a player. I mean, he adds a little bit more. He has the ability to run you over and to run away from you. I mean, he's a good back, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So he's going to add a little bit to the offense. I think he will, compared to what they have at the running back position. Like I said, he's a guy that Matchups. I wouldn't start. I'd be my backup on a week, but I mean, depending on the matchup. If they're playing a weaker defensive front team, I would start him. But like I say, he's a guy that you pay attention to matchups. He can give you that extra because he does have that ability as far as running you over, running away from you. It's a better improvement as far as what they had last year at the running back position. So he's a guy you probably want to keep your eye on. If you do, you can grab him up as a third pick as running backs, and depending on the week or what's going on, you put him in there as a star. He's just one of those guys that you can do that with. So that's why I have him at 17. Now let's go to number 18, James Conner. Man, I like this guy. I had him when he was a rookie, and when old boy got injured, he came in. Man, he was a beast. Now he's getting injured as well. So it's kind of it hasn't derailed his career. I want to say it slowed his career because even when he came back this year, he did pretty good. I mean, that whole team was injury plagued. Kyler got hurt, so I mean, they haven't been the same since they haven't been the same team. Kyler was out. I mean, they were a playoff team. They have I don't even think they made the playoff. They just injuries. That's what happens. It decimates a team sometimes. Decimates the chemistry, kills that. So I think he's a guy is also as well. You can stick in there. I wouldn't start him, like I say. It's the injury issues and them as a team. He's a good third down. Like I say, third pick. I'm gonna have my two running backs and I'll pick him. He's the type of guy. Unless you go heavy. See, that's the thing. Another thing on fantasy. Say you want to go heavy. He's the type of guy that complements a team. Say you want to go ahead and pick all receivers first. You can pick him as a back like that. I mean, they're a two-headed monster, even though the other guy over there. But you could put him like that. But like I say, it all depends on his health. I wouldn't depend on him as a starter like that. But he's a complimentary guy. If he can stay healthy, that's the only problem is health. And that's why we have number 18. Now let's go to Kenneth Walkers. I have no idea who he is. I mean, I'm joking. He was another guy that came out of nowhere because of the team. Just the whole setup over there and with Gino. And, he didn't live up to his that year before he got paid. And they took a big hit with that. And then they had the contract issue with their receiver, so they had to they got to keep him happy. They were just a big old cluster fuck, as you want to call it over there. They were just they definitely didn't do what they were supposed to do as far as what they thought they should have done. Just for the simple fact they just didn't do it. So I mean, yeah. But as far as him, man, I'm gonna need to do a little more homework on him. He's a guy just because he plays for Seattle. Yeah, he's another guy that I wouldn't start. I'd pick him as a number, like I said. I could probably use him as a number 2 bet. That is, if I pick my best, like if I had Alvin Kamara, I could use him like that. He's a guy that'll get you some numbers. So he's a guy that, he can get you the ball. He can get you some numbers. He can get you those tough yards. He's a tough runner. That's the thing about him. So he's a guy. He could be another dark horse. Just keep your eye on him. Do a little bit of homework. Check him how he's doing in the off season. Like right now, at the camps, he could possibly move up to the top 15. I mean, he's a guy that came out of nowhere as well, only because of the team he was on. The talent's kind of been there when he, in college and everything. But he's a guy that, like I say, just playing on that team, it's kind of, oh, okay. But he made enough buzz. I'll tell you that. He's in the top 20, so he made enough buzz. So that's what happened 19th. I mean, he's ahead of Isaiah Pacheco. So that's going to, and speaking of Isaiah, he's going to be our next pick. And the problem with him, and that's probably why they have him over there. It's a running back by committee. They run 3 guys, McKinnon and Player and him. That's how they run their. Ever since when I mean, man, they go through personnel like people change clothes, but they make it work. They have. I mean, the only fixture you can actually say that they've had is Kelsey. That's all you need, right? I mean, he's their go-to. He's the guy. No matter how you look at it, they had Cheetah there, but he is their guy because I mean, he could kill you. He's the big tight end. He's got it. He's got everything. He could kill. His production. Oh, excuse me. So I mean, yeah. I mean, excuse me about that. Let me get back to Isaiah. They just have a three-headed monster, but the guy's a tough guy. He's quick, and he's the guy that he's tough. He's a very energy type running back. He's a guy that you tell him he does it, and that's pretty much it. He's a guy that he's a guy. He's very likable in the team. He's that guy. He's a guy that everybody he does. He leads by example, by how hard he works, how hard he runs. No, he's undersized, but the guy's got a lot of heart. That's what I like about Jose. That's what I like about Pacheco. He he's a guy that's gonna carry the. You give him the ball, he's gonna. He's smart one guy too. And he's a guy that if he fumbles the ball, man, it hits him, but he figures out how to make it up. That's the type of guy he is. He's got a high IQ as a running back, as far as just understanding, and I think it's more of it. It's hard. He's gonna say, "I got to get it back. I got to get it back." He's gonna get it back. He will get it back somehow. So that's why and like I say, he's probably at 20 only because they have that committee. Running back committee. But I think most of it's to his size. If he was a bigger guy, it'd probably be a little bit different. But the way I'll be honest, the way Kansas City runs their team, they're all by committee. I mean, they got Gray over there did pretty good. I mean, that's a team that you can actually it's by committee. You never know. You never know who's going to be the star. So they know how to make it work. So that's why they have Isaiah at number 20 because you never know who's what. Because I mean, I'm not gonna say he's consistent, but I think his lack of touch is why his consistency is not so high. And that's why I have him return. Now, Josh Jacobs. Now, here we go with Josh. Yeah, let me see where he's at. Because I know he was with Vegas last year. So, hasn't been. I'm not quite sure, but I'm gonna check him out. Josh, what do you have, Mr. Josh Jacobs? They probably have him higher than I. Oh yeah. Well, he went to Green Bay, so. Yeah, he went to Green Bay, so. Hmm. Another inconsistent team. I mean, it's gonna be a different. He's a different running back. Uh, Dylan and Green. Dylan. I think they had Dylan and they had Aaron Jones over there, right? He brings a lot of power. He's got some speed, don't he? But he's gonna. They'll probably use him more. He'll probably be a better. He'll be getting a lot of touches. He'll just be getting a lot of playing time. As just being a blocking back as well for the quarterback because they got a nice receiver trio over there. If the guy can stay healthy as far as receiver, got hurt last year. But it's been going like that every year. A lot of people have been getting hurt, so yeah. So he's the kind of guy you're gonna have to watch off season to see how he fits. He's new. I mean, the offensive line as well. That's where you'll find the issues and struggling to see how you can get going with that. Other than that, I mean, he's a guy that can get you those tough yards. He's another consistency type guy. He doesn't put up a lot of numbers, but he doesn't go below his numbers. You know what I mean? Stays consistently around it. It's just the way he is. It's just the way they run them. You know, it's the way they use him as a position. So, and that's why they have him at 21. So let's go to Monday Stevenson. Well, Zeke is going. I think Zeke is back with the Cowboys. Yeah, he's still there. Okay. Yeah, he's back over there. He didn't go. Well, of course Zeke is left, so he's I think he's more of a product of his environment type running back. What I mean by that, he's with New England. They haven't really built or tried to rebuild. I mean, they did around the quarterback, but they're just missing something. They're just missing something. I mean, they have the great Bill Belichick over there. I think it's offensive line with maybe holes here. And the defensive line, the secondary is pretty not inconsistent as well. But I mean, Tom Brady pretty much did to you. I'm not gonna say they completely trash. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that because that's a whole other topic. Because I don't want to hear. I'm not trying to hear all that. Okay, let me hear what I was gonna say. I was gonna say what Tom Brady did to New England is what LeBron James does to teams when he leaves. But Tom Brady is a GOAT. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I don't. LeBron James to me is not the GOAT. So I'm gonna put it there. He's top five, but he's not a GOAT. But anyway, he's a good running back. He's a dual threat. He's a dual threat type of guy. He comes out, he catches the ball. But I think their lack of is just that team because they're a defensive oriented team. Bill Belichick now. They don't have Tom Brady there. He's another guy, consistency guy, get you about 13 or 14 points. Sometimes, like I say, it's not due to lack of him, but just because they can't get in the red zone a lot, they don't score a lot in the red zone. That's why his production of points is not as high as it should be because he's a good back. He can catch the ball too. He's a good blocking back as well. But so like I say, just they had more consistently offensively going. He put up better numbers, but until they can figure out what's going on with that, so we have a number 22. Tony Pollard, look at this. Dang, he dropped a lot. Maybe it's because he's going to Washington. I mean, he came back from the injury. He's okay. I don't know. He's not my running back anymore. I tell you that. He's Washington's problem. Well, he's going to have to worry about Brian Washington Jr. They're going to split carry, so maybe that's why. And Washington doesn't have the same offensive line as the Dallas did, and that had a lot to do with why he was successful last year because he put up some good numbers. I'm not gonna sit there and say he didn't. He put up some good numbers. I mean, he's a dual threat. He's a smaller guy. He tried running. He ran. Like I said, he did run between the tackles, but a lot of it because the holes were there. He's not a guy that's gonna run you over every time or just. Hey, he's a hard guy to tackle because he's elusive. That's I don't like they put him at that high. To me, he's high, but maybe I understand why. Don't get me wrong. I might be a little biased because he did play the Cowboys, and I want to see. I guess I have to see what he's going to do. Behind, not such a good, not have a good line in front of him like he did at Dallas. So, but yeah, that's why they have him at 23. We're going to really see this year. We're going to see. So let's go to our next pick, Nick Chubb. Here's the guy that if he can stay healthy, he is a killer, but he tends to get hurt twice a year. But I mean, he's a hard running back. He's a hard nosed guy. He's a back that's going to run hard. Remember when he first got in the league, man? He just can't stay healthy. He's potential number one back to just can't stay healthy. I mean, he's a guy that definitely would like to put him in the starting lineup, but you can't because you don't know if he's going to get hurt. So he's definitely a guy that if you can grab him as a backup, grab him. He is that guy. He has potential as a number one back, but he just help. His help. He can't gets hurt. So I mean, that's the way. That's the thing with Nick Chubb right now. Is if he can stay healthy, man, he's a number one back all the way. He is. He's a good runner, red zone, catch the ball. He's a blocker. He's got the speed. So yeah, but because of those issues, he's at number 25. So now we got Najee Harris. Tough runner. He can catch the ball in the backfield, plays for they like their running team, you know, that's due to the weather a lot. No, I'm joking. They do run the ball because of the weather. Don't get me wrong, but he has to split carries now. So probably what they're gonna 25th. But he's a little bit older now too. And the other guy's pretty good too. Jalen, I think his name is Jalen Warren. Yeah, Jalen Warren. But we're gonna see how that goes. I would really pay attention to that, especially because Jalen Warren is good. He's got speed, gets the ball in the backfield. He's a dual threat back, but he can run as well. But Najee Harris is the ground and pound guy that gets you those tough yards. He's a short down distance back. He's better than Jalen Warren at that. Warren's more relies on the speed than just power. So, but that it's going to end up. That's going to be the end of the 25 running backs for the fantasy. But I got my 5 honorable mention: DeAndre Swift, Raheem Mostert, Javonte Williams, Amir White, and Brian Robinson Jr. And all these guys are backups, or they're running, or they're part of a 2-man team, and they get the least carry. So I would look at these guys as far as just. I think these also are backs that you could start, like matchup wise. Or your guys down that I can feel comfortable to get you some of those points to get you through that week. That sometimes that happens like that. Man, it's a bye week. I need somebody to get 10 points, 12 points consistently. Those are my honorable mentions for right now that I have. But so, like I said, but do your homework, see what's going on, because a lot of things can change from now until fantasy seasons actually starts. I just want to give you a heads up. I just want to give you a little bit of how I look at things and how I choose my running backs and see what's going out there. A lot of them are with new teams now. You have a couple of them with the new team, so you need to look at all that. And as far as the running back system and everything, and who they're sharing the carries with, and see if it's different from what they're used to and how they're used, because it has a lot. That could determine between a couple of points, 1 or 2, 3 points right there. So, but I'm here to help you as far as just doing fantasy. Like I say, I'm gonna be doing things all up until the fantasy starts. My next thing will be the receivers, because I'm gonna leave quarterback probably for last. So, if you have any questions, my channel is Hook 'em Picks. I'm out of Austin, Texas. I go to a lot of the UT games. I go to Cowboys games as well. So, if you need any help with fantasy questions or just anything fantasy related, drop me a comment. You can shoot me a comment, or you can email me as well. But that's what I'm here for, to help make your fantasy one of the best ever. And I'm always in the top. I put it like this. If I'm not winning, I'm second or I'm third. You I stand behind when I say that, because I've been playing fantasy for a long time, and I run fantasy. I've been running fantasy for a long time. I'm still thinking about. I might run a free fantasy this year. Uh, Trying to get more, like I said, get more people on my channel. I might run a free fantasy. It's gonna pay like $500, but it's gonna be a free fantasy. So it's nothing other than just joining my channel, get me. I just trying to build up my channel. Like I said, I'm new. I'm this for this year. I'm new to the channel. I'm new to YouTube, so I'm just trying to grow my deal. But I want to run a free one just so I can get back. You know what I mean? Or so you can just see how well that how much knowledge I do have as far as fantasy, and how when I do it, people I pick as far as that goes. That way I can grow my channel and just get it out there and let people know that, hey, this guy's a fantasy guy. He knows what he's talking about. So, well, that being said, I gotta get up early in the morning. Like I said, it's guys' week this week. My wife's out in New Orleans for her birthday, so it's just me. I gotta get my son up. You know, gotta get him ready to go. So, if any questions, drop me an email. So that guys, peace. Hook 'em horns and let's win.